Will I pay for this? What am I to do? Oh. Get it? My name is Joe Galeota. I grew up in Connecticut. I was born in Hartford, Connecticut. Went to school there. We lived in Wethersfield, Connecticut when I was 3. And then grew up in the school system there. And then when I was about 8 years old, I started playing the drums in school and started developing that talent and taking private lessons. I continued to play music in the band, in the orchestra, and I was also in the choir for 2 or 3 years in high school. And then after high school, I applied to the University of Hartford. And that was my first choice, which was an excellent school, something like Juilliard. And from there, I transferred to Berklee College of Music here in Boston. After school, I said, oh, it would be nice for me to travel to another place and learn drumming, some other kind of drumming other than the drumming that I grew up with, which was classical music and soul music, and so I applied to the University of Ghana. It was different for me, you know, but I fell in love with Ghana totally. I fell in love with the people first, and then the drumming second. I was there for a whole year pretty much, and then I came back and transferred to Wesleyan University. I got a call from Berklee from one of my former teachers who was the chairman of the music department, and he asked me if I would teach at Berklee. So I was in my 20s, late 20s, and I said, yeah, that would be great, you know, I'd love to do that. I don't teach any core classes. I teach electives, pretty much. I also teach private lessons. I have some private lessons. I teach 3 ensembles. I have 2 Afro-pop ensembles and 1 traditional West African drum and dance ensemble. I teach some labs, which is one is called African Rhythms for the Drum Set. And I teach djembe styles of West Africa. So I teach music from the French-speaking West African countries, primarily djembe and dununs. And then I teach music of Ghana, drum styles of Ghana, basically drumming from Ghana.
Beat 4.
Okay, on beat 4.
Third partial beat 1.
Okay.
Third partial beat
1.
Where the third partial?
All over the years, for about a little over 20 years now, I've been leading study abroad programs for Berklee. And it's actually not through Berklee, but kind of offer it there to students that study the music with me. So basically, we go to Ghana for 3 weeks. There's not that many schools, like official type schools, traditional schools that teach music. But anyway, I've built relationships with these people in the communities and also with their staff. And we go there and they receive us nicely. We have dormitories. It's pretty rigorous. It's like study abroad. I mean, there's like 4 to 6 hours of instruction a day. One of the main aspects of African music is that, you know, it comes from an oral tradition. So people learn by ear. I grew up playing Western music, classical music basically, and we learn mostly from paper, music paper. So the music is written on the paper, and then you read it, learn how to read. And that's a certain style of playing music. It's actually an intermediate step, because your eyes have to interpret the music, and it gets transformed into singing or playing an instrument. Whereas with oral tradition is more direct. You hear the thing, and then you try to copy and play. When the teacher, you go to the lesson, private lesson, for instance, in classical music, it's one-on-one, and the teacher helps you to learn, and you learn some repertoire, and says, go home and learn this for next week. And you go home and put a lot of hours in, and that's you and your practice room on your instrument. And then when you go back, you play the thing, and you have a new assignment for the next week. In Africa, they don't have private lessons. It's always a group lesson. When you learn in a group, and you learn to make music together. Now, ultimately, when we perform classical music, it's very rare that you just play by yourself, except for piano. Sometimes piano concerts, you can play by yourself. But other than that, you're always playing with someone else, or in an orchestra, in a small chamber ensemble, or, it could be any amount of people together playing, but you play with people. So your ensemble skills, or your relational playing, doesn't get developed as well as when you do it constantly, like in Africa, through oral tradition, which is all about the community. Playing music that closely all the time with other people, and some of the music is ferocious. It means it's like loud and fast, and to play that kind of music takes a lot of concentration, a lot of skill, and a lot of practice with others. And that kind of musicianship is invaluable. Sometimes when I play Western music, I fall asleep, or I'm like, this doesn't excite me at all, because it doesn't have that fire in the music, and that's kind of a blanket statement, but any music, for me, my philosophy is, whether it's classical music or this music, jazz or African music, if it's played well with a lot of feeling and openness, then it could be exciting. It doesn't matter what the genre is. If music is played with intention and intensity, then it communicates well and makes a strong statement. So African music has a lot of that, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the aspect of playing with others. It's an intimate setting, so to speak. You're intimate, like musically, and it's I guess it's like playing on a great basketball team, or a football team. Everybody is unified and excited, and they have one purpose and goal in mind, and that's to win. African music like that, to me, there's a lot of team spirit in African music. So that's really propelled me forward in my life. It's given me a whole purpose in some ways. I've devoted my whole life to teaching thousands of students. I've been teaching now for a long time, maybe 30 years. And it's helped me to teach others how to get along with each other. We all have different backgrounds and personalities, and I like to say we're kind of all dysfunctional, like our parents did the best they could. Every parent does, but there's some certain things that that you need to learn on your own. And it's been exciting. It's been an exciting road for me to teach African music to others.
No, 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 no. Sí, paso esto, baby.